Hey friends, and welcome back to Legendary Tabletop Hobby Vlog. And today we're gonna work and finish up these Terminators that we are painting in the sort of ultramarine style. And that is about it. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. Give me that like, give me that subscribe. And I just want to really quickly stress that this isn't a painting tutorial. We're just painting for fun and for just a quick little standard to get them on to the table. So I am no expert. I'm just having fun. So all you haters out there, especially you, Randy. I seen that comment that you left, Randy. So everybody else, except for Randy, is cool. Now let's paint. All right, greetings again, programs, and we are into voiceover mode, and I'm just taking my little hobby knife, my little OFA knife, I think is what they're called, box cutters, cleaning up some of the mold lines, and then using some inexpensive white acrylic paint because I'm out of spray paint right now. You can use spray paint for the prime for this, and I'm just gonna cover them with a thin layer, and then we're using some speed paint. I believe it's dark blue, magic blue, and we're gonna avoid a few of the spots that we're gonna make metal. We're gonna leave those white. Then I go back with a second layer of that speed paint and hit some of the more shadow type areas, like the little divots in the leg there, and just create a little bit more depth really quickly. And then a couple of these guys, I made a few mistakes. Little shaky hands boy, little shaky hands guy, and just fixing my mistakes over here. And also we're going to just create a little variation in these guys. And then so I'm grabbing some of my nice Vallejo paints and just a couple colors here to start getting a little bit more specific with the detail, hitting the metallic portions with some black here, like the wings, the Astate's wings on their chest, the guns, and some of the other metallic portions, these big old Predator style Gatling gun things. And then I'm just grabbing some metallic paint, some silver, and doing a little dry brush over those metal parts. A very easy way to get a little metallic color. Looks great. And then also hitting some of the spots on the armor, dabbing some Brando spots and some edges to make that blue look like some of the paint or finish or whatever the heck the Terminator suits are made of. And we're going to, create that metallic look. And then a little bit of gold here. We're hitting some of those other areas, just creating a little variation with some of the insignias and I believe they're the quality seals that are on these Terminator Space Marine boys. Again, guys, this is not a tutorial. This is the hobby vlog. We're having fun. We're painting things. We're de-stressing from the stresses of life. And I hope you guys are enjoying. Like and subscribe. Hope you're painting some stuff too. And then I'm going to hit the white with this runic gray speed paint for a very easy way to get some detail. And the nice thing about the speed paint, you kind of move it around a little bit. If it's too thick, you can dry your brush off and soak up a little bit in the bristles to get it out of there, to kind of get the effect. You have a little bit of time to work with it. And then I let that dry, and I go back with some white to just hit a couple of those highlights. Nothing too wild. I'm not doing the eyes. That's the one thing. A lot of people paint the eyes. I just can't do eyes. I know my limits. I think that's a good way to live too. Everybody out there, know your limits. You don't have to be everything. You don't have to be everyone. You don't have to be good at everything. You can just do things to have fun. All right, and then now We're gonna hit some of these armor highlights, and we're gonna do a couple layers of this glazing here. It looks very strong right now, but it'll dry much more subtle, and we're doing just a little bit of the edge highlights. So one of my favorite hobby products ever is dry pigments. Now this is kind of like the pastel paints or pastel type chalk that you would use in regular arting, and we're going to use these to sort of create the Geonosis from Star Wars, this like sort of Mars type planet, because I do have a board that has that color and uses this dry pigment. And these are really cool. A really inexpensive way to kind of get started with dry pigments is to just buy an inexpensive pack on Amazon of pastels, and you can crumble them up and use them for different colors. But this, I was able to color a whole 6x4 board using just basically half this. So the way you use it is you're just going to take a brush and apply it to your models where you want it, and then we're going to use it sort of like dust, and then you use a varnish to seal it. You can also use hairspray, that sort of thing. You could also use glue if you really want to, but a matte varnish a spray matte varnish is going to give you the best results. And a lot of people that have watched the channel before have seen my Mordheim board, and many people don't know that the opposite side of the Mordheim board, it's actually two-sided, is that Mars surface and or Geonosis, desert planet, that sort of thing. So I'll show you guys that. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me. Show you the board really quickly. This is part of the hobby room. So you see here, we have, looking at the wrong screen, we have the Mordheim board here, and then watch, we flip it over, and we have the desert planet. Now this is just made from a sheet, 2x2 sheet of XPS foam, and then I have put magnets in the sides to click them together. So one side is Mordheim, one side is the desert planet. And we're going to use this to create some cool photos of our Terminators. So see you then. All right, so here is a nice close-up of the pigment, and you're going to want to have a sort of dedicated work area for this. It's going to get very messy. It's basically like chalk consistency, very dry. You could add this to medium to create your own paint, and basically it makes a very natural, you can see how it kind of rests on the armor, on the feet, and blends the feet in with the base, goes nice with that brown color. The pigments are just a really nice tool, and like I mentioned before, you can get like $5 to $10 pack of pastel paints that people use like for paper from one of them, Michael's or some sort of craft store, very cheap, and you can break them up. And then here I just take them out to the garage and give them a little spray, and that will seal the pigment into the base, into the feet. All right, we've painted these dudes, and we got them looking pretty decent. We're gonna have to do a little zoom in here. Let's see. All right, if we can. Yeah. they're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty Terminator-y. So let's do something different today. I'm going to zoom out here. Zoom out. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how I like to set up some photos. Some beautiful bean footage if you've been a watcher of the channel for a few years now. So let's set up some cool photos with these guys. Okay, so I'm setting up the shot here in a different location here in my little hobby room, hobby space. At some point I will give you guys a tour of the hobby room in the hobby vlogs here. I think that would be nice. Comment below if you'd like to see that. You want to see that sort of thing. And then we also have a workshop here at my place that's out in the garage. It's like a wood carpenter's kind of workshop. And coming up, I'm going to be building some new gaming boards. So we're going to be out there, chopping the wood, doing that sort of thing. So, but back to putting up the shots. I have the base on the bottom that matches the bases of the Terminators, and I'm just lining up some props, lining up some terrain here to create some depth. And then once I kind of get the depth that I want, so I can step back and zoom in and get a great shot, I can start placing lighting and that sort of thing. And I'll have several different lights in the back, colors, that sort of thing. And that's kind of basically my plan always for the beautiful bean footage. Try different things, that sort of thing. So here's the shot.